Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Ghostly Grimoire of Cow's Library. Chapter 1. The Discovery. Holly Edwards loved her job at the Cow's Library on the Isle of Wight. Nestled in a historic coastal town, the library was a treasure trove of old books and forgotten lore. Holly, a librarian with an insatiable curiosity, often found herself lost in the pages of ancient texts, relishing the scent of aging parchment and the whispers of history. One rainy afternoon, as the wind howled outside and the sea waves crashed against the shore, Holly stumbled upon a hidden door in the basement. She had been cataloguing some old books when a draught led her to a crevice behind a dusty bookshelf. Intrigued, she pushed the shelf aside and revealed a small, iron-bound door. The door was locked, but a quick search of the basement yielded a rusted key hidden beneath a loose floorboard. Heart pounding with excitement, Holly unlocked the door and stepped into a forgotten chamber. The room was dimly lit by a single, grimy window. Dust motes danced in the air, disturbed by her entrance. Against the far wall, an ornate wooden chest beckoned to her. Holly approached it, her fingers trembling as she lifted the heavy lid. Inside, wrapped in moth-eaten velvet, was an ancient grimoire. The book was bound in dark leather, its cover adorned with strange symbols that seemed to pulse with an eerie light. Holly's curiosity overcame her sense of caution. She took the grimoire to her reading desk, where she carefully opened it. The pages were filled with intricate drawings and incomprehensible text, written in a language she did not recognize. Chapter 2. The Unleashing. Despite the ominous aura surrounding the book, Holly was determined to decipher its secrets. She spent hours poring over the pages, comparing the symbols to those in other ancient texts in the library. Slowly but surely, she began to understand the basics of the language. Days turned into weeks as Holly delved deeper into the grimoire. She found spells for protection, healing, and more. But as she ventured further, the spells became darker, filled with warnings and dire consequences. Her fascination grew, and she couldn't resist testing one of the simpler incantations. One evening, under the flickering light of an old lamp, Holly recited an incantation meant to reveal hidden truths. As she spoke the final words, a chill swept through the library. The temperature plummeted, and the shadows seemed to grow darker and more substantial. Suddenly, the air was filled with whispers, angry, vengeful whispers. The books on the shelves rattled, and the lights flickered ominously. Holly watched in horror as spectral figures began to materialize, their faces twisted with rage. The spirits of those who had once sought the grimoire's knowledge had been awakened. Chapter 3. The Haunting. The spirits were relentless. They prowled the library, seeking the one who had disturbed their rest. Holly, terrified yet determined to correct her mistake, tried to communicate with them. She begged for forgiveness, but the spirits were beyond reason. They wanted the grimoire and the knowledge it contained. Night after night, Holly was haunted by visions of the spirits. They whispered dark secrets in her ear, driving her to the brink of madness. Her once beloved library became a prison of terror. Desperate, she turned to the grimoire, hoping to find a way to banish the spirits. Chapter 4. The Ritual. Holly's research led her to a ritual that promised to seal the spirits back within the grimoire. It required a precise incantation and several rare ingredients, some of which were nearly impossible to find. She spent days gathering what she needed, each step fraught with danger and dread. On the night of the full moon, Holly prepared the ritual in the library's basement, where she had first discovered the grimoire. The air was thick with tension as she arranged the ingredients and drew the symbols on the floor. With a deep breath, she began the incantation. As she spoke the ancient words, the spirits grew more agitated. They swirled around her, their whispers becoming screams. Holly's voice wavered, but she pressed on, pouring all her will into the ritual. The symbols on the floor began to glow, and the grimoire vibrated with a dark energy. Chapter 5. The Sacrifice. The ritual demanded a sacrifice, a life force to bind the spirits. Holly realized too late that it required her own life. Panic surged through her, but there was no turning back. The spirits closed in, their eyes filled with a mixture of hatred and hunger. With a final, desperate plea for forgiveness, Holly completed the incantation. Pain shot through her body as the grimoire absorbed her life force. The spirit screamed, drawn back into the book, their forms dissolving into shadow. As the last spirit vanished, the grimoire snapped shut, its symbols glowing one final time before fading into darkness. Chapter 6. The new librarian. Years passed, and the Cow's Library continued to serve the people of the Isle of Wight. The memory of Holly Edwards became a distant legend, and the hidden chamber and its terrible secret faded from the collective memory. But as with all secrets, the past has a way of resurfacing. Emma Carter, a young and enthusiastic librarian, was hired to replace the recently retired head librarian. Emma had heard the stories of the ghostly Grimoire and Holly Edwards, but she dismissed them as mere folklore. She was more interested in the library's vast collection of books and the opportunity to bring the library into the digital age. One late afternoon, while exploring the library's basement for any old records that needed archiving, Emma stumbled upon a peculiar crack in the wall behind a bookshelf. Her curiosity piqued, she pushed the shelf aside and uncovered the iron-bound door. Intrigued by the potential of uncovering hidden history, Emma set about finding a way to open it. Chapter 7. Awakening the Past. After several days of searching, Emma discovered an old journal that had belonged to Holly Edwards. The journal detailed Holly's discovery of the chamber, the grimoire, and her terrifying experiences with the spirits. Emma read the entries with growing fascination and unease. The journal ended abruptly, leaving the final fate of Holly a mystery. Determined to uncover the truth, Emma continued her search and eventually found the rusted key beneath the same loose floorboard that Holly had discovered years before. With a sense of both excitement and trepidation, she unlocked the door and entered the forgotten chamber. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the lingering scent of old parchment. The wooden chest sat against the far wall, just as Holly had described. Emma hesitated for a moment before lifting the lid. There, wrapped in tattered velvet, was the grimoire. Chapter 8. Temptation. Emma knew she should leave the book alone, but the allure of its ancient knowledge was too strong. She took the grimoire to her reading desk and carefully opened it. The symbols and incantations seemed to glow faintly, as if recognizing her presence. As she delved deeper into the book, she felt a strange connection to it. The grimoire seemed to call to her, urging her to unlock its secrets. Emma found herself drawn to a particularly complex incantation that promised to reveal the truth about the past. She hesitated, remembering Holly's fate, but curiosity and the desire for knowledge overcame her caution. Chapter 9. The Haunting returns. Emma recited the incantation, her voice echoing in the silent library. As she spoke the final words, a cold wind swept through the room, and the temperature dropped sharply. Shadows danced along the walls, and the whispers of the spirits began anew. The spirits, once again unleashed, recognized Emma as the one who had disturbed their rest. They surrounded her, their eyes filled with anger and sorrow. Emma tried to reason with them, to explain that she sought only to understand, but the spirits were beyond listening. They craved the knowledge they had lost, and they would stop at nothing to reclaim it. Chapter 10. Seeking redemption. Desperate and terrified, Emma turned to Holly's journal for guidance. She found notes on the ritual Holly had performed to seal the spirits, but the details were incomplete. With the spirits growing more aggressive, Emma knew she had little time. She had to finish what Holly had started. Emma gathered the ingredients for the ritual, many of which were scattered throughout the library. As she worked, the spirits tormented her, whispering dark secrets and sowing seeds of doubt in her mind. Despite their efforts, Emma pressed on, driven by a determination to set things right. Chapter 11. The Final Confrontation. On the night of the new moon, Emma prepared the ritual in the basement. The air was heavy with tension, and the shadows seemed to close in around her. She drew the symbols on the floor, her hand shaking, and placed the grimoire in the center. As she began the incantation, the spirits grew more agitated, their whispers becoming frantic screams. The symbols on the floor glowed with an unearthly light, and the grimoire pulsed with dark energy. Emma could feel the spirits pulling at her, trying to disrupt the ritual. Summoning all her strength, Emma continued the incantation. The air crackled with energy, and the room was filled with a blinding light. The spirits screamed in rage as they were drawn back into the grimoire, their forms dissolving into shadow. Chapter 12. A new guardian. With a final, desperate cry, Emma completed the ritual. Pain shot through her body as the grimoire absorbed the remaining energy of the spirits. The book snapped shut, its symbols fading into darkness. Emma collapsed to the floor, exhausted but relieved. She had succeeded in sealing the spirits once more, but at a great cost. As she lay there, she felt a presence beside her. She looked up to see a spectral figure, Holly Edwards, her face serene and grateful. "You have done well," Holly whispered. "The spirits are at rest, and the grimoire is sealed, but beware, for its power remains. Guard it well, and ensure that it is never opened again." With those words, Holly's spirit faded, leaving Emma alone in the silent library. She knew her duty now. The grimoire would be hidden away, and the chamber sealed once more. Emma would become the new guardian, ensuring that the dark knowledge within the book remained forever out of reach. Epilogue. A legacy of vigilance. The Cow's library continued to stand as a beacon of knowledge and history. The story of Holly Edwards and the ghostly grimoire became a solemn reminder of the dangers of forbidden knowledge. Emma, now the head librarian, took her role as guardian seriously, ensuring that the grimoire remained hidden and forgotten. And so, the library remained a place of wonder and learning, its secrets guarded by those who understood the price of curiosity. The whispers of the past faded into silence, but the legacy of vigilance endured, ensuring that the dark knowledge of the grimoire would never again threaten the world. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had a great day.